Good afternoon, class. My name is Staff Sergeant Barry. I will be your instructor today for this block of instructions. Today we are going over a classical dish called the French macaron. There are many different types of macarons. There is an Italian macaron, a French, and a Swiss macaron. This application we are using the French mixing method. Okay, so the ingredients that you need for this French macaron are included as follows. We have almond flour, we have confectioner's sugar, granulated sugar, egg whites, vanilla extract, and cream of tartar. So we will use the mixer today for this application. So first off, right off the bat, to our first step, we're going to get the egg whites nice and frothy. So we want to put our egg whites straight into the mixer. And this is 4 egg whites. All right, so we just want to mix gradually until the mixture becomes nice and frothy. So we go from a clear liquid to a frothy liquid. We can crank up the speed a little bit to get that emulsion going. Basically what we're doing is we're whipping the egg whites to incorporate air. Incorporate air is going to make the mixture nice and frothy. Frothy is what we're looking for and is our first stage of going through the soft peaks to stiff peaks is what we would like to achieve at this moment. So once we have our mixture and it has begun to get a little bit frothy, we want to incorporate our vanilla extract and our cream of tartar. Once we have incorporated those 2 ingredients, then we're going to gradually add our granulated sugar. If we overmix it and whip it too much, it will not react the way we want it to. So as the mixture is moving, we will still use. Make sure your sugar is well incorporated. And we'll do about 1/3 at a time. It's easier to achieve it that way. If you split it into thirds, it's easier just to add 1/3 at a time. Once that portion is incorporated, add the next third. All right, so add the next third. All right, so we will continue to mix this process until we achieve what we want to be a soft peak. The soft peak is where the color of the egg whites have formed, and it's going to have a nice peak that will fold over at the top. That's what we consider a soft peak. A lot of times you can hear the change of the noise of the mixer, and you can understand, as a well-seasoned chef will know, when a soft peak is formed and when a stiff peak is formed, just by the tone of the mixer. And we will crank it up just a little bit, just to expedite the process. All right, so we can see the color changing from the yellow opaque color to a nice whiter color. And it's going to get a shinier. The cream of tartar is going to give it that body and that shiny texture. The chemical reaction will actually make it thicken as well. So once you can get a soft peak, you can actually see the lines of the mixer, of the whip attachment going through the lines of the egg whites. And you can actually see them forming. So you can see that you're achieving a nice soft peak. And we're just keep going through the stages until we get a nice stiff peak. And the reason why we want to achieve a stiff peak is when we fold in these other 2 ingredients, and with the stiff peak, it will loosen. As we fold them in together, the mixture will loosen a little bit. We want to call what is created a slack. So I will show you the folding process of that nature. So this one, I just wanted to show you the form of it. At this point, you can add food color, which we will have a pink macaron at the end of the block of instruction. But for this purpose, I wanted to just show you the mixing process so you can actually see it. until we can stop it, and then we can check it to see if we're at. So the easiest way is just stick your finger in and see the form. See how it folds over? That means we're at a soft peak. So we're going to continue our mixing process until we get a nice stiff peak. Now, be very careful. There's a thin line that you don't want to overmix it. You overbeat it, your egg whites and your product will actually break. We don't want that to break, okay? So we just want to keep an eye on it through the process. This is not something that you can turn on, set it and forget it, and leave. You actually would want to pay close attention to it and watch it go through the process. All right, we can see it thickening. We're almost there. Crank it up one more just to get a nice whip. Now this is the equipment that we will use in the classroom. If you were at home trying to, duplicate this recipe, it is okay to use a hand mixer as well. All right, let's check it, see where we're at. Yes, we should be. We'll go a little bit longer, just to. The way that you will know if you overmix it is the actual egg whites will separate. So it will separate from the form where it's creating the spiral. It will actually separate and you'll see gaps in the egg whites and the mixture with the sugar and the powdered sugar. So approximately, if you were to time this would take about a 5 to 7 minute process to actually achieve a nice stiff peak with your mixtures already meased out. As you can tell, our mixture was all meased out, measing like a champion. All right. At this point, we can check it, we can remove it, and actually visually see that it has a nice stiff peak. There we go. Nice and stiff. It doesn't move. After you pop it, it doesn't move. Okay? So for the next process that we use, we want to incorporate the confectioner sugar, powdered sugar, as you may call it, or 10 times, into almond flour. And both of these items have already been pre-sifted. Okay? All right, so if you just mix gently with your hands, mix the process. As we have stated before, when we incorporate this into our bigger bowl and we actually fold the ingredients together, we will do this in thirds, okay? So we're gonna take our whipped meringue. See that nice shiny color? That's what we're looking for. That's the cream of tartar, giving it that shine. All right. So we have this process, and then we're going to incorporate our almond flour and our confectioner sugar in thirds. All right, so the way we fold, or we're going to take the spatula, and we're going to go in a circular motion from the outside in, all right? And turn the bowl as you do it. Now when you fold into the product, you're actually incorporating air. Incorporating air is going to make it a more delicate product. If you just mix it, you will lose all the processes you've already tried to achieve. So it's a little more time consuming, but it's better to incorporate all of the product to make sure that it's incorporated. So remove all the excess from the side to make sure that you get all that dry ingredient that you're trying to achieve. So as you're doing this, you're removing any lumps or anything that can occur. Although you've sifted your ingredients, those things can happen. So we go another third. All right, incorporate those dry ingredients. You can give it a little whip if you like. All right. And after about 10 or 20 minutes, this will wear out your arm. So that's why us in the military go to the gym, right? So as we're incorporating this, once we fully get all the ingredients in there, we will have what is called a slack. And I will show you that process. And it's going to thicken, but you're going to continue to whip it. Once you continue and you keep whipping it, it will eventually loosen up. Because you're incorporating air and then you're incorporating warmness. So once you do it, so if we checked it now, it's probably not ready because we want a slack. The slack means is if you take a spoon and it slides off. It's sliding off a little bit, but we want it to actually pour just a little bit more, okay? Because we're going to pipe this item. There we go. See that nice pour? That's called a slack. That's what we're looking for. So that's finished with that product. What we're going to do with that is we're going to take that, put that in a piping bag with a nice round tip, and then take it and put it on a silpat, a pan, a sheet pan with a silpat. Take it in a piping bag and pipe quarter-size circles. All right, quarter-size circles, you're going to alternate with the levels that you do because when you bake it in the oven, it will spread. So we want to put those on a pan all the way down the line, a full pan. And once you're done, you smack the pan on the table. And what that does is release the air bubbles. Releases the air bubbles out and brings them to the surface. So anything that cooks, it's going to remove that. So you're not going to have any bubbles or any cracks or anything like that. And we will let that set out for approximately about 25 to 30 minutes. And at that time, it will create a nice little skin, a little layer on top. And you can actually feel the difference. If you poke your finger on the top of the macaron, it will not leave a mark. So it will have created a little skin. At that point, we put it in the oven at 290 degrees Fahrenheit on a regular oven, conventional oven, for approximately 12 to 15 minutes, turning it every 6 minutes. All right, so the end state that we get, voila, are French macarons. All right, once you remove them from the oven, you allow them to cool on a cooling rack thoroughly, and they will set. This is a nice little wafer. There are different applications of how to present it. One of the main applications that we like to use is the sandwich method, okay? So every time that you pipe these out, you're gonna get a lot better at it as you go. But for beginners, you will get different size and shapes. That's okay. You will just find its mate or partner in crime and sandwich those two together. What we sandwich it together with is different fillings. You can use a Bavarian cream filling. You can use another meringue filling. For this application, we have created a lemon curd. So I will tell you the ingredients that go into the lemon curd, and those are as follows. We use 9 egg yolks. We use 150 grams of lemon juice, fresh squeezed lemon juice. And from that lemon, we still get 2 grams of lemon zest. Glucose, we'll use glucose. So glucose is very similar to, as you would say, corn syrup in that nature. Glucose is 250 grams of that and 125 grams of unsalted butter. So the easiest process for this is we're going to take a double boiler. You will put the pan on top of the double boiler and you will add all the ingredients until it has dissolved and melted, except for the butter. You add all the ingredients, heat it up to 180 degrees where it has thickened. You will then strain that product, then add your butter, and get a nice melted sheen on top. And that will incorporate into a nice thick product. So you let this chill overnight, and the end state you will have for that, which I already have prepared, is our lemon curd, okay? This nice filling. So the easiest way to apply these two together is we're going to take 2 that match remove one, bottom, and just spoon on top, just a little bit, okay? Add the other top right on top, and we will twist and let those set. This is Staff Sergeant Barry, and that concludes my block of instructions for the French macaron.